First, I want to introduce myself by saying that my name is Caleb Gipson, and I'm just like the average person. Like most people, for many years, I knew very little about finances, self-employment, or investing. But after years of educating myself on these topics, along with law, I realized several things. Number one, money is necessary to living a successful and fulfilling life. Number two, history has contributed immensely to our current economic situation in the world in general. Number three, business and finances are sometimes coextensive, but very different parts of an individual's life. And number four, that law dictates the guidelines of business and investing. So my goal here is to enlighten people about financial freedom, how to attain it, and the economic condition that we live in this world. So I created a 15-episode podcast dedicated to helping everyone from the everyday couch potato to the business owner become more knowledgeable about finances and investing so that anyone can achieve the ideal American dream. In this first episode, I'll talk about cash flow. Cash flow is a very simple term. It refers to the consistent flow of passive income, and it's the first key to financial freedom because only through a constant flow of income can you become financially free. Most people would think of it as like payroll income, but payroll income is very different because of the simple fact that in order to receive payroll income, you must work actively. Passive income, you don't have to work actively for it. Examples of this would be like dividends or rents that you would receive off of properties or business investments, stocks, stuff like that. Well, though they both may be consistent, of course, the active or passive factors what differentiates them. Another term that is different from cash flow is capital gain. Capital gain investments are investments that are centered around a person selling a product, a service, or an asset one time and receiving capital accrual for it. For example, if I buy a house for $80,000, renovate it, and then resell it for $160,000, I just got a capital gain. The problem with people investing solely in capital gains is, number one, inflation causes the amount of money that you receive to be, in reality or practice, less than what you would have made when you first acquired the asset. Number two, the thing that makes passive income better than capital gain income is the fact that through passive income, you steadily receive a paycheck. And because it's passive, of course, you don't have to do any active work. Whenever you acquire an asset and try to receive a capital gain off of it, you sell it one time, but then you have to go find another asset in order to acquire and then resell. So it's more timely if you try to invest only in capital gain-based assets. Whereas passive income assets, you can simply just acquire them and just let the money pile up. In order to gain financial freedom, it's best to have a lot of passive income-based assets for the simple fact that passive-based income assets generally don't bring in a lot of money with each particular one, but if you have, say, $1,000 passive income sources, then you just have $5,000 per month that you just brought in through passive income. The third benefit that is much more beneficial than the route of going the capital gain way is that taxes are taxed the least on passive incomes. The most most that you will be taxed upon is portfolio income. Oh, really? No. It's payroll taxes. Payroll taxes are generally what you'll receive the most tax accrual off of. Then portfolio income, which would be off of capital gains, stuff like that. And the one that you would be taxed the least off of would be passive income-based assets that generate a timely and consistent revenue accrual over a period of time. Because of these factors right here, it should become very obvious that cash flow-based assets are the way to go in order to creating generational wealth or consistent long-term investment plans. Capital gains are good for short-term investing, but if you plan on being rich or gaining riches over a long period of time and sustaining them, passive income plans are the best route for you. Now, examples of passive income, as I've already said, are dividends and rent. And I gave one example of capital gains, but I want to give more examples of capital gains so people will be able to differentiate between the two much easier. When people think of the stock market, they generally think of buying the stock and then waiting until it becomes more valuable and then reselling it. That's the ideal objective of any stock marketer. But that is more risky than passive income, because if you buy a stock, you're gambling or risking you're risking not receiving what you paid for it, simply because it could lose value rather than gain value. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, if you buy a stock that allows you to accrue passive income steadily at a consistent rate, then even if your stock lowers in value, you will continue to receive a dividend. So even if the dividend might not be as much as it was 6 months ago, I will continue to accrue money over a period of time until I get all of the money that I spent, which was my initial expense, and then everything after that is just net profit. All I have to do is just hold it. And because I don't have to spend as much time actively working in any type of way to keep this particular stock up generally, then it'll leave me more time to accrue other assets that will bring in passive income producing effects. Now, of course, the real estate market is the ideal market for investors to come into whenever they want passive income producing assets. But, of course, you also have capital gain assets that you can accrue through the real estate market also. Houses are generally capital gain producing sources of income, but you can rent out a house. Let's see, the strategy that I want people to understand that would be most beneficial to them in this particular instance would be multi-family homes. A lot of people focus on single-family home investments in the realty market, but it's not as conducive to success for the simple fact that if I buy one house and the rent on is $800 to $1,200 per month, but I go get a 24-unit apartment complex and the rents that I charge per unit are $500, of course I will make much more money off of the apartment complex than I would off of the house. Now, a lot of people would be vexed by the simple fact that they believe that you have to have a lot of money to pay for an apartment complex. But in reality, that's not true. It's all about networking and being able to sell your idea to others. Because Because if you can sell your idea to others, then you can bring investors in who will pay for you to syndicate the deal in order to bring about a project so that they will receive some type of passive income flow of money off of their investment, while you receive an initial syndication fee and you will be brought into the deal as far as a percentage of the profits go for spending nothing. All you simply did was orchestrate it. And a lot of people don't understand the ease that comes with that. One of the main discouragements when it comes to this field of investing is the fact of networking and being able to talk to others. Even I have problems with elucidating my point at times or expressing myself, but with confidence and generated experience, anyone could do this with relative ease. And then after you get the first deal done, brokers will be coming and knocking at your door, metaphorically speaking, in order for you to find other investors who will potentially buy the properties that they're trying to sell. It's a snowball effect. Whenever you syndicate the first deal, you become known as a deal breaker. And once you become known for setting in stone these deals and getting stuff done, people will want to work with you. And as people work with you, you will generate more passive income flow simply because the more units that you have or the more houses that you have that are bringing in rent, the more money that you get off of in total. And because you gain more money in total, you come closer to your financial freedom goals. Now, a lot of people still may not be comfortable with the thought of having to, say, set up seminars where they must teach others how to invest in apartment complexes or multifamily homes. But if you're one of the few who really has anxiety when it comes to speaking in front of other people and getting people to buy into your ideas, you can always simply set up a deal with a more experienced real estate syndicator. Now, many of you may be asking, well, why would somebody want to come and start up a deal with me or a partnership with me or an LLC with me that is based around us syndicating deals with investors if I don't have any expertise in the field? The answer to that question is simple. If they can get you to help them in any way, then it will make their job easier in accruing investors so that they can buy more units and therefore create more passive income for themselves. Networking is the key, because even if you network with someone who really doesn't have much experience in the field, they can still bring other people to you who could help you possibly find investors. And that is the biggest key to this whole project when it comes to multifamily homes. When you're trying to get a cash flow off a multifamily home income without spending your own money initially, you have to be a syndicator. And to be a syndicator, you have to find investors. So if I have someone who has less experience than me when it comes to syndicating a deal, but they have a network of people who have money and are willing to invest, then it would make so much sense for me to get a certain amount of the profit of this endeavor in order to bring the deal together, as long as they simply allow me to speak to the people that they know and use their credibility as my own credibility in a sense. Well, that pretty much covers all of the basics of cash flow. Now, in the succeeding podcast, I will speak more about cash flow simply because it is the main point of this entire topic, which is financial freedom. But for now, I'm going to end this episode right here, and I look forward to speaking to you in the future.